Welcome to the next episode of Flyer Nation. I'm Matt Mohan. If you missed our last episode, you can check it out on the Lewis University Television Network's YouTube channel where we spotlighted the women's volleyball team. Today, I'm going to be joined by Coach Becky Pearl and senior infielder Amy Bukovsky of the Lewis softball team. To begin, I'm going to be joined by Coach Becky Pearl. Coach, how are you today?
I'm great, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Now, you're going to be entering your sixth season here at Lewis. How would you say your program has evolved in your time here?
I really focus on culture with my girls. I read a quote once that was, culture takes years to build and seconds to tear down, and it really stuck with me as just kind of that reassurance that you're working towards the right thing and stick to who you are while you're coaching. So it's been cool to see our team grow and really buy into what we're teaching here.
Awesome, yeah. Now, you guys had a big run at the end of the season last year to push your way into the conference tournament. How do you think that late season success will carry over into this season?
With 6 returning seniors, it's exciting to have that experience so that they can build on it. I think that our goal is always to be in the top 3 of the conference, so that just kind of helps us push towards our ultimate goal.
Absolutely. Now, to start the season this year, you guys are going to be playing at the Lewis Dome Invitational in Rosemont, Illinois. Could you just tell us a little bit about this tournament and what exactly your team's involvement in it is?
Yeah, so it's grown this year. We're a 15-team tournament. Over the course of 4 days, there's a lot of games. We start at 9 a.m., last game ends at 10 p.m. But the great thing about it is it's regional games. So we're really crossing over some regional teams and get in some quality regional rankings, hopefully, in your big wins. So
awesome. Now, to start the season, what impact do you think those early games have for the rest of the season?
So they're guaranteed games, right? They're indoors. It's always key to make sure that you can get those early games in before you start conference play. So I think it'll be good to have some top-notch competition before we get into our tough GLVC schedule.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Now, you guys have a lot of fresh bodies this year. Yeah. You have 5 new freshmen joining the team. What impact do you think these new players can have in their first year here at Lewis?
I think we've already seen them growing so much in just this first month alone. But we've got 5 freshmen and 3 transfers, so we've got 8 new kids. I think the great thing is that we do have those 6 veteran kids, seniors, that have been here a long time. We're a close-knit team. So I think that the new kids are going to have a good time just growing and trying to break into the lineup whenever they can.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you talk about these transfers, these new players, they're coming from other schools. A lot of them are leaving home for the first time and coming here and living in a new place. What can you do as coach to make these players feel more at home and comfortable in their first year here at Lewis?
So I really focus a lot on team building with my group. We did some glam camping this fall already. We did some team events. We did a survivor / competition with just puzzles and all that kind of stuff. Mixed up the teams, took them out, made them go kayaking and race around a lake. So any time that we can get them off the softball field to grow as a group, I think really helps them on the field. The closer they feel, the more comfortable they feel, the better they're going to perform on the field. So we try to do as many of those activities as we can.
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have more from Coach Becky Pearl. Stay with us. Welcome back to Flyer Nation. I'm once again joined by Coach Becky Pearl. Now, Coach, we talked a little about the new bodies that you're bringing in this year, but you guys also have 6 true seniors that are returning this year. What is the advantage of having such a large group of veteran players in key moments and big situations?
I think it's irreplaceable. The talent that they bring, the comfort as a group. We've talked a couple times even this week just about how tight our team is, and I really kind of operate from that family atmosphere with my girls. And so anytime that you've got kids coming back and sticking around for 4 years and able to work together, I think you're going to see some great experiences and great talent happen.
Absolutely, yeah, great leadership. Now, you have a lot of players from the surrounding suburbs, a lot of players from Illinois and Indiana. What does your recruiting process look like? What do you look for when you're trying to search for new players?
I really I look for talent. Obviously, you've got to have high performing student athletes. I look for academics. I don't want to have to worry about their grades, but I really recruit for culture. I'm looking for those kids that understand that there are 20 people on this team. Not everybody's going to get to play every day, and you might have been the top dog at your travel team at your high school, and I hope you are that here as well. But you might not be every instant. And so realizing that a lot goes into practice and games and wanting to be part of this culture is key to my recruiting process.
Absolutely. Looking for not only the talent on the field, but the off the field characteristics as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. What can you do as coach? What lessons can you teach to these players on the field that'll help them off the field once they graduate?
I'm a firm believer that all athletics, but in my case softball, really teaches you a lot about what you need to do after you're done with college. Obviously, even if you play pro, you're not going to make millions of dollars doing that. So, you know, we're here for a reason. We're here to get an education. But the education that we can receive can also be on the field. So we talk a lot about teamwork. We talk a lot about communication, having quality relationships with not only your professors, your teammates, your coaches, respect. You know, my goal is to graduate quality student athletes that I can brag about and want to brag about afterwards. And so we really try to pour those qualities into them and kind of continue that growth process that their parents have already started.
Absolutely, very interesting. Now I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Right.
I have an interesting question. If you had to choose between your players having success on the field versus having success off the field, which would you choose?
Both. I really think they go hand in hand. You know, I don't want you only to have talent on the field and win games for me. I'm here to win games, right? I hate to lose more than I like to win. But the reality is, if you're not a good teammate, if you're not putting in the work off the field at the same time, academically and socially, then you're not going to be successful in either category. So I really do push for both.
I agree, yeah, great answer. Now, a lot of people may not know this, but the university currently is building a new facility right over here by the softball field. It's going to have concessions, bathrooms, locker rooms for the players. How do you think this new facility will change the softball experience here at Lewis?
I think it's a great opportunity for us. The girls are really looking forward to having a locker room that, you know, you get done with practice, you can put your stuff away, you can change out of your dirty, sweaty clothes and get back to getting to dinner and getting your schoolwork done. I think it'll be nice to not have porta potties anymore.
Yeah,
that's a definite bonus. And it's just a great recruiting tool as well, you know, to be able to show a new prospective student athlete what the university is doing for us is really a cool opportunity.
All right, Coach, I'd like to thank you for sitting down with us today. Best of luck on your season.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
Yep. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be joined by senior infielder Amy Bukovsky. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back to Flyer Nation. I am now joined by senior infielder Amy Bukovsky. Thanks for joining us today, Amy.
Thanks for having me.
All right, now what is your biggest goal for this season?
I'm hoping that we make it back to the conference tournament this year.
Awesome. Now there's a lot of positions out there on the field. How and when exactly did you decide that you wanted to become an infielder as opposed to, say, a catcher or an outfielder?
It was probably when I was pretty young. I think that's just kind of where I found my niche on the field, so I think that's what I like to do best.
Now, you're an education major here at Lewis. What is your dream job, or what are your biggest career aspirations?
I'm hoping to be a high school English teacher one day, and then I chose to go into high school because I hope to coach.
What lessons have you learned in softball that could help you in your career once you graduate?
I think the biggest one is teamwork and just learning how to work with others, but also just mental toughness and learning to never give up.
Now, you're one of 6 true seniors on the team this year. What role do you play exactly in being a leader for the younger players on your team?
I think myself and my other 5 true seniors have all taken a big responsibility this year. We think that since we do have so many freshmen, we really want to make sure that they feel welcome to the team and that they feel comfortable at practices and our everyday lives off the field.
Now, this is your 4th season. Are there any specific games that you just have circled on your calendar? Are there any opponents that you just can't wait to play this year?
I mean, honestly, all of our conference games are big games for us.
Absolutely, awesome. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more from senior infielder Amy Bukovsky. Stay with us. Welcome back to Flyer Nation. I'm once again joined by Amy Bukovsky. Now, Amy, this is your 4th year here at Lewis, but let's go back to the start. Let's go back to your first season. What exactly was the deciding factor in coming to Lewis?
Well, I grew up in the area, so Lewis is always kind of close to home, so I had heard of it. And then I came to visit campus, and I thought it was a beautiful campus, and I liked all of the nature that we had to offer here. And then when I started talking to Coach Pearl, it just kind of sealed it for me.
Now, how did you feel the first time you took the field in a Lewis uniform?
Nervous, but very excited. We had practiced before then, obviously, so I knew the kind of feel of the team and how the season was going to be feeling-wise, so I think it was just kind of getting the first initial nerves out.
Now, you went to Montini Catholic, a LaSallian high school. How important were the LaSallian values of Lewis in making your decision to come here?
The LaSallian high school, connecting to my LaSallian college now, was something that I didn't really plan for, but I have really come to enjoy. Just hearing the same St. John Baptist de La Salle and all of those core values, staying true from high school all the way till senior year in college, was something that not a lot of people get, and I'm really lucky.
You're not just a softball player. Back in high school, you played volleyball and basketball. You were a 3-sport athlete. Why exactly did you choose softball, though, to play collegiately over all those other sports?
Honestly, softball is the one where I had the most fun. When I was younger, I had the best, my favorite teams were always softball teams. My teammates were my closest friends on softball, so I think that was part of the reason I just stuck.
How do you and your teammates build relationships both on and off the field throughout the course of the season?
That just comes from basically hanging out off the field. We like to try to do things together as a team. We like going to movies and even just like hanging out in our dorms together.
Awesome. Now, is there anything special you guys do to prepare for the games? Is there any specific rituals that you guys do?
Not really. I mean, most of us go to Courtyard for breakfast before games, but nothing special, really.
The softball season, it's a long season. There's a lot of games that you guys play. There's a lot of different situations you guys are in. Sometimes you're winning, but sometimes you fall behind. How do you guys stay locked in mentally in games that you may be trailing by a lot?
I think that just comes from within. I know Coach works with us a lot about that resilience and never giving up. So I think in those moments, that's when it really kicks in, and we have to just dig deep and buckle down and then get to it.
Now, people who have never watched college softball before may be surprised by how vocal you guys are in the dugout during games. How important is it, do you think, to keep your team energized throughout the course of a game?
It's very important. I know Coach preaches it all the time. The more energy we have, the easier it is to do well and have fun, and the more fun you're having, the more likely it is that you're going to do well and win. So that's why even in bad times we try to keep talking and cheer on our teammates, because there's nothing better than when you have a bad at bat or something, you come in the dugout and your teammates are like, hey, you're okay. Absolutely. It gets you right back in the zone.
Good to pick your teammates up, absolutely. Now, being a student athlete is very difficult. It's no easy task. How do you balance being a full-time student and a softball player at the same time?
Yeah, it is very difficult, but I love school personally, why I'm going into education. So I just make that a priority for me outside of the classroom. I make sure that as soon as practice ends, I shower and get right to my homework, because I want to do well in my classes.
Absolutely. Time management is key, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, if you could say any advice to younger girls that want to play softball, that want to play at the collegiate level, what would that be?
I think it would just be have fun with it, never give up. I know there are going to be days where they don't feel like going to practice or they don't feel like doing an extra workout or something, but I think it's just doing those little things, even in the moment, they'll pay off in the long run.
Great stuff, Amy. Thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be sitting down with both Coach Becky Pearl and Amy Bukovsky. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Flyer Nation. I'm now joined by both Coach Becky Pearl and senior infielder Amy Bukovsky. Amy, how has your relationship grown with Coach Pearl over your time here at Lewis?
Definitely a lot. As a freshman, she knew I was quite shy and I was a little nervous, but I think she would say the same, that since then I've grown quite a lot and I feel a lot more comfortable with her. and she helps me both on the field and off the field.
All right, now Coach, having seen Amy play here for the last 3 seasons, what specific moment makes you most proud of her?
I can't say there's just one specific moment, honestly. Just watching Amy grow and kind of develop into just an even more awesome human and player and academically growing. I've enjoyed that whole process. So there's just not one moment. I think it's really awesome to see her in her senior season taking a leadership role. So that's been exciting. We haven't played any real games, so to speak, but just seeing that on the field in practice and kind of guiding those younger kids, it just kind of makes you proud.
Awesome, yeah, absolutely. Now, what stood out about Amy during the recruiting process? What specific qualities did you see in her that just made you think we have to have her on this team?
Right, so I recruit for culture. Somebody who buys into kind of what I'm laying out there for my team. And you could just see her energy right away. And then she just has a disgusting quick release. Like, she's so quick. As soon as the ball hits the glove, it's in her throwing hand and she's getting rid of it right away. So for me, she was one of that first recruiting class that was going to play for me for 4 years, and be all by, like not by herself, but be the complete 4-year kid. She had the defensive stuff down, so I was excited to have that on our team.
Awesome, yeah. Now, Amy, what specific qualities about Coach Pearl just made you think she's a great coach and I have to play under her?
I think it's just her ability to make you feel comfortable. Like in the recruiting process and even coming in as a freshman, you're nervous and everything, but as soon as coach starts talking to you, all those nerves go away and you can just kind of like feel comfortable in your own skin. And then her heart is so big for her Lewis family here, but her family at home, and I think that's something I really admire about her, is how she takes care of all of her families.
Awesome, yeah. Now, Amy, you've overcome a lot of adversity in your career. What is the key to overcoming that adversity? And Coach, what can you do as coach to help players through those rough times?
Well, I think that coach's lesson about controlling the controllables, so controlling what you can control, is something that I've tried to really focus on in my career. So when things get tough, like, don't focus on anything outside of my little circle where I can control things, so I can control my energy. So I always try to keep that up.
Absolutely. And Coach?
I mean, that's the biggest thing we talk about as a team, is the small circle. The things in the big circle are out of our control. We've got to focus in on what we actually have control over. And, I appreciate Amy saying that. I really do try to make them as comfortable as possible, because there is a lot going on. You're going away from home, whether it's 10 minutes or 2 hours or further, and so just making them feel comfortable so that they can perform at the top of their game.
Awesome, yeah, great stuff, guys. All right, that's it for this episode of Flyer Nation. I want to thank Coach Becky Pearl and Amy Bukovsky for sitting down with us today. Best of luck on the season to both you guys.
Thank you.
Make sure to catch our next episode of Flyer Nation, where we'll be spotlighting the men's basketball team. I'm Matt Mohan. Thanks for watching.